Ivo, this just disgusts me, and so I'd like to discuss this today. I saw a video passed on by a man who was crying because an African American was arrested by two cops, and one of them had him on the ground and had his knee on the man's neck. Within 10 minutes or so, despite protests from the onlookers and despite protests from the man himself, he lost consciousness because he couldn't breathe. The cops were fired. So what? They were fired. Not put in jail and made to wait for their court date. They were fired. That means they can get jobs working as security guards. This man with the knee is a killer. I haven't watched all the news on this, and I am hoping that he was arrested and will stand trial. Of course, if he does, he'll get a slap on the wrist and a light sentence because he was a peace officer serving the public, or some other stupid excuse. When are people going to do something about this? The people who were watching, why didn't they call the police and have other cops do something about the one who was strangling the man? Not all cops are killers, like this psycho is. Why didn't someone intervene? Because they're afraid of being put in jail? Arguing with a police officer when he's killing someone is a pretty good reason to be put in jail. I can think of worse reasons to be put in jail than trying to help someone who's being murdered. What is wrong with people? This just didn't happen yesterday. There were protests in the 60s led by Martin Luther King. Rosa Parks' famous bus ride took place in the 50s. Do people actually think that they're only oppressing people of color or minority? What do they think they are? Free. You have to work every day so that you can pay taxes. If you call that freedom, no wonder you would sit back and watch someone get the life choked out of them. You're that far gone. This man was killed right on the street. Where were you during the Rodney King riots? Just watching it on TV, I'll bet. This is nothing new. And no, I can't sit up here judging Americans because Canadians also have a minority their government is mistreating. They're the indigenous people. It's part of the program. That's how they work. They pick out one or two ethnic groups and pick on them so everyone else thinks they're free and that it would never happen to us, when in the meanwhile it's been happening to us for centuries, just it's been happening so slowly nobody perceives any difference from decade to decade. Ivo, when you think as one who is united with all, when you give up fear, selfishness, and greed and understand that you are all one, now fighting a common oppressor, it is difficult. Me, yes, it's hard to keep my mouth shut. And I will be in Ottawa on Canada's birthday, July 1st, to tell the government what they're doing to us is not okay. People, we have to wake up. Mind control has made us stupid. Yes, I'm just going to tell the plain truth, it has made us fearful, selfish, and glad someone else is getting screwed and not us. We're all one. We are all part of the whole of God. We are all part of God, here on earth, acting out this drama. And we're watching other people take a bullet for us and thanking God we were the lucky ones this time. Or we think it's not even possible that someone would shoot at us, but they are. They're coming for your freedom and hell-bent on taking it away. Everything the government does that we don't like should be protested. Everything. You say that's impossible? Well, then if we did, we'd have a government that would comply with our collective wishes, wouldn't we? Yes, Ivo, it is hard to see what's going on. Every time one man, woman, or child goes down, it's a loss for all of us. I put a post up about this on my timeline and everyone avoided it. If you think it's okay for an African American to be killed on the street, then you're prejudiced. You're a separatist. Cops aren't doing their jobs. They're overstepping their jurisdiction when they murder someone in front of witnesses. And if you let one cop do it, that sends a message to all other cops who are so inclined as well, we can get away with murder. Everything that's going on, the Illuminati is watching. They watch to see just how far they can push us, and when a man is murdered in front of an audience of onlookers, that sends a message to them. They're worse than we thought. They will let us do whatever we want. I used to take the stance that people were victims of this global regime of psychopaths. Now I take the stance that if you don't do anything, you're complicit. You're part of the problem. And I have no pity for you. If we took care of our fellow man the way we took care of our pets, we'd be in great shape. Why don't you just treat everyone around you like you treat your dog? Seriously, I am getting really fed up with people who don't see how complicit they are in creating the world we have around us now. Everything that happened with our permission. When are we finally going to put our foot down and say, no? When are we going to stick up for our fellow man because the government is overstepping its control? Ivo, you must have patience, my love, as your people are waking up. It will take knowledge of a common enemy to make you understand that you are one people. You are in it for the long haul, I am afraid. People will keep taking more and more removal of their liberties before they understand that they are being controlled, and this is not in their best interests. Yes, people will split out into new like-minded communities. Your world is dividing into timelines of like frequency. The awake will split from the sleeping, while attempting to continue to wake them up, of course, but there will be many who are so dependent on the system and incapable of doing much more than the most menial of tasks that will have trouble standing on their own 2 feet. Me, I know people like that, yes. Ivo, and this is what I am saying. They have been made to be very dependent. If your people would become involved in changing your system, then it would be changed for the better. But you have allowed a few psychopaths to run your world, and that is your problem. You have trusted the wrong people, and many are not even human. They have helped to create division within you, and you express this daily through voicing your opinions. There is only one truth, and that truth is God and love. Your opinion, which has been heavily manipulated, means nothing. It is important to align your opinion with God, and do nothing more. Then you will be on the right path. Me, even that is subject to opinion. Ivo, I know, my love. It is frustrating to see, and feel, these events now, but they are necessary to help wake others up to the fact that their liberties are being removed and that they are in prison. The more they realize this now, the more they will see other ways that they are ensnared. Me, how can you just let a man die right in front of you and do nothing, when clearly the one who's supposed to be helping him is killing him? How can you just stand there? And why was that man writing a bad check? Probably because he hasn't got enough money because he's not working, I'll bet. So he dies because of this. How many other North Americans could be in the same situation right now? Writing bad checks or trying to find some way to get a meal for your children. Here's the response of the town's mayor. Frey said he understood the anger in the community but reminded potential protesters that there is another danger out there right now, which is COVID-19. There you go, it's a redirect. They distract you. You're like a baby sitting in a playpen while mommy is shaking a rattle in front of you to get you to stop crying. That's exactly what they're doing. It's distraction, another Illuminati technique. Here's another manipulation used by the mayor. We need to make sure that everyone that is protesting and that is voicing their opinion stays safe and their families are protected as well, he said. So please, practice safe distancing, please use a mask. Fake concern. He's saying, I'm really a nice mayor, not some lying bastard that just gave a slap on the wrist to some cops who killed a citizen of the city who wasn't even resisting arrest. It's all about looking like the nice guy. And it also shows they don't care about their people, they just say they do. People have to get wise to this stuff. You need to hold everyone responsible for what they do, and stop listening to what they say because they know how to distract and to schmooze you with nice words and fake concern. Every politician does it. It's called being full of shit. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz tweeted Tuesday, the lack of humanity in this disturbing video is sickening. We will get answers and seek justice. Yes, they're going to cover it up. Just watch. St. Paul, Minnesota, Mayor Melvin Carter called the video of the incident one of the most vile and heartbreaking images I've ever seen. The officer who stood guard is just as responsible as his partner, both must be held fully accountable, Carter tweeted. This must stop now. Dude, where were you when Rodney King was murdered in LA? Your words ring hollow. You have no intention of stopping this because it is a problem of global proportions. And the only ones who can stop it is the people, everywhere, by realizing we are all one people united against our oppressors. Talk is cheap and these guys aren't worth 2 pennies, people. You've been snowed by this kind of shit all your life. This will be covered up, and nothing will be done about it, because it is part of the globalist agenda of divide and conquer. You need to see this.